What's going on, guys? Namco and Dustin here, FantasySmackTalk.com. Fantasy baseball advice coming up, and we're going to start off with America's newest favorite game, and that is...
Do you buy the hurt guy?
So we're going to go over a few guys that are on the DL, should be buying them, should be selling them, what should you be doing, so...
Alright, we got 5 guys here for you, 5 big name guys. First one just went on the DL, Matt Holliday. Do you buy the hurt guy?
I'm buying that hurt guy. Matt Holliday has been fairly healthy his entire career, off to a great start. I think this is a guy you should be trying to go after since he just got hurt. Make the offers right now. Alright, Dustin, what about Jason Hayward? Are you going to be buying him?
I'm not buying Hayward. We don't like him as a buy low guy. His owners probably overpaid for him in the draft. You know, they were high on him coming in just like a lot of other people. I say Hayward, you're going to have to pay too much for it. Not big enough upside at this point. All right, Brent, do you buy the hurt guy, Ryan Zimmerman?
I'm buying Zimmerman. You know, he's going to be back fairly soon. And with Zimmerman, you know, we believe you're going to get what you thought you were going to get before the draft. Good average type of guy. Go ahead and get Zimmerman if you need a third base. All right, Dustin, one of your boys. Are you buying the hurt Joe Mauer?
I'm not buying. I mean, the catcher position this year has just been pretty much a flop, almost all the way down, minus a few exceptions. You know, so no one really in your league has a dominant catcher, so don't even worry about trying to go out and get Joe Mauer, hoping that he comes back and turns it around. It's just too many question marks right now. Just stick with who you got. Let the guy who has Mauer just eat that one. All right, our last guy, David Wright. Do you buy the hurt guy?
I'm buying David Wright. I'm just buying all the hurt guys, all on my team. I really like David Wright. He's a good guy to go after right now. I think when he gets healthy, he's going to have a great finish to the season. He might even get traded, get into a better lineup, so he's definitely a guy you should be targeting. All right, we got one form question. Oh, and it pains me because I hate LeBron so much, but it's from I Love Dwayne Wade. And he wants to know, should he be giving up Dustin Pedroia, Ryan Braun, Matt Joyce, and in return, getting Hanley, Crawford, and Pagan?
This one's a little tricky. Let's break it down a little bit. With Hanley's injury, I put him and Pedroia as fairly close at this point. Braun, Crawford, I'd take Braun in that one. And Joyce, Pagan, I'd take Joyce. But all in all, this is a really fair trade, so I think this comes down to your team needs. You know, you're giving up a second baseman and getting a shortstop. If you have a decent second baseman on your team already that you can replace Pedroia with, and you need a shortstop, go ahead and do this trade. But if you're kind of okay at shortstop and you don't really have a good second baseman, I don't think it makes sense. But it's close enough to where if this fits your team needs, I say you pull the trigger on this one.
All right, it's everybody's favorite time of the show. It's the waiver wire. Dustin, go ahead and get us started with guys we should be looking at in pretty much all leagues.
Now, these guys aren't owned in that many leagues, but just because of their position eligibility, we're saying they should be considered in all leagues. And that's Eric Young Jr. out in Colorado and Alan Craig out in St. Louis. Both these guys, great young talents. Eric Young Jr., potential bat for average and be a top 3 guy in stolen bases. And Alan Craig in the last 2 weeks, batting .450 with decent power. I mean, just because of their position that they play, we think they're great gambles right now. Take a gamble on them.
And now we move on to a bunch of guys with first base eligibility, so you probably got a good one. If you don't, here's 4 names that you should probably be able to pick up. They're all owned in 50% of leagues or less, and that's Moreland with the Rangers, Freeman with the Braves, Hosmer with the Royals. I love some Hosmer. And then Moores with the Nationals. Now again, it is first base, so you probably already have a good one. If you have a utility spot upgrade you need, these are all guys to be looking at. Gonna bat for a pretty good average, give you some power. So again, you know, it's a deep position, but take a look.
First base is just unbelievably deep this year.
It's
crazy.
It's ridiculous.
All right, I got a third baseman for you, Pedro Alvarez. Only on 55% of leagues because he's been hurt. He's still on the DL, but he's about to come off pretty soon, and we say he's worth a gamble. He was a big sleeper coming into the year. Obviously has not worked out, but the potential is still there. We say take a gamble on him as well. He's worth a roster spot.
All right, I'm going to talk about a relief pitcher, and that's Crow. Soria, I feel terrible for Soria owners. You know, borderline, maybe even the first closer taking some drafts. Thought it was a secure thing. It ain't working out for him. Aaron Crow now has the closer duties, owned in less than 50% of leagues. If you need saves, it looks like he's going to be getting the shot for quite a while.
All right, let's move into guys who are must-adds in deeper leagues. First one, Danny Espinosa. We talked about him a little while ago, and then he went ice cold right after we talked about him. But he's getting back on that hot streak, only in about 30% of leagues. He definitely has potential for knocking the ball out of the park. 5 home runs in the last 2 weeks. Don't expect the best average, but if you need power at second base, there you go.
All right, next we got Canadian-born Brett Laurie. I love the fact he's Canadian-born for some god-unknown reason. Only owned in about 15% of leagues. He's still in the minors, maybe that's why, but in the minors, batting .354, 15 jacks, 49 ribbies. I mean, this is a guy in deeper leagues you got to be grabbing.
Pick him up now. It'll be too late. All right, moving on. Jordan Lyles, young starting pitcher for Houston, owned in less than 10% of leagues. He just had his major league debut, solid outing, and it's one thing we've learned about young starting pitching is they can have an instant impact and have fantasy value. He's a guy that's worth a gamble to pick up and definitely someone you should be keeping an eye on.
Next, we got a guy that makes me look thin, and that's Fatty Magoo, Bartolo Colon of the Yankees. You know, he hasn't really had a fantasy relevant year since '05, but right now the K's are there. He does play in the Yankees, so he's going to get run support, so he'll get some wins. You know, worth a gamble in the deeper leagues. So that's it for this baseball edition. We're starting to do our rankings for football, lockout or not, so that will be coming in the future. And last, I want to give a shout out to Shaquille O'Neal. 19 seasons, one of my all-time favorite players, if not my favorite.
Another
Shaq,
Fatty Magoo.
He's not Fatty Magoo. He was jacked in his young age. Loved him.
Not anymore. Fatty Magoo, number 2.
He's gonna kick your ass. He's a big man.